Nobody? 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 Come on.
Just the scope of interest in,
Okay, just like the information.
yeah, I live within driving distance,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't expect to see people from all over the world at this.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
I was at BTC Miami 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
And
that was there.
It was 2 days of speed dating for ICOs.
Yes.
This conference has been more consultative,
Nice.
more informative,
Okay.
lot softer
Yeah, yeah.
than the hard pressing. Our ICO token sales going on tonight.
Right.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Let me give me your credit card. Give me your credit card. Okay. Anybody else? Something memorable about the show?
Just being able to interact with other people, network with people, get some different and completely different ideas and viewpoints, and just the information overload.
Nice.
Wishing I would have found this, a couple years ago when I got involved.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Could anybody tell me some names of companies that stick out in your brain that you didn't know of before this conference and now you know about them?
Celsius.
Good. Who else? Anybody? Any names stick out? Nice. Okay. What else? Yeah. I love those guys. Okay. Excellent. All right. Cool. We're working on another conference. I'm just trying to learn from this one. So I really appreciate you guys. Awesome. Well, I guess this is probably everybody. So I had no idea I was speaking today. In fact, this conference is amazing. I signed up for 2 speaking engagements, and this is my 4th out of 5 that I'll have. And they keep sending me these text messages like, where are you? You're supposed to speak in like 10 minutes. What's wrong with you? And they keep doing that. It's totally amazing. So I'm Ken Palm. I have a company called ICO Comply, and we're building a platform to automate ICOs. And we're solving one of the biggest, I think the biggest problem of ICOs. So when you talk to ICOs that have already gone through the process, they've done one of 2 things. They've either completely trounced on the law and they're waiting for the feds to show up and take them to prison, or they've suffered a horrible living hell of KYC to be compliant with the law. So ICOs are digital marketing campaigns. After you get through the process with the seed round and investors and telling your story over and over and over and over and over, it comes time for your ICO itself. And the ICO is this massive digital marketing campaign. I'm planning to spend at least $1 million on digital marketing on my ICO. That's going to be, actually my ICO is going to make it into Facebook. Most can't anymore. Mine will make it into Facebook. We're going to be doing digital marketing across the internet. We're going to spend $1 million. Well, with digital marketing, something very, very important about digital marketing, you never want to sell twice. Anytime you're selling something, you want to sell once, get the consumer to make a decision, and then execute that decision. If you have to sell twice, your results are going to suck. And that's what ICOs typically have to do if they're compliant. They have to sell twice. First, you sell to get them to the point of KYC, and then you sell and beg to get them to complete KYC and actually make a commitment. Since I run a platform called ICO Comply, we run a lot of ICOs, so we see the numbers right in front of our face. And the drop-off at KYC is tremendous. It's terrible. It's like 40%. So imagine if you're spending $1 million on marketing, $400,000 of that marketing is thrown away because of because of KYC. But the alternative is to go to prison. So it kind of sucks either way, right? So we've invented a solution. I just got it vetted at this show by one of the foremost attorneys in the ICO space. And he tweaked it a little bit, and he said, you're golden. So what we're doing is this. In an ICO, you see an ad in Google, you click on the ad, and at this point, you have become a drug pusher. I'm a drug pusher as a living, okay? Because I do digital marketing. I sell endorphins. I sell the serotonin that a consumer gets when they buy whatever it is that I'm selling them, okay? It's a basic drug pushing. So what happens is this. The user clicks on an ad in response to one of 3 emotions. And the internet is driven only by 3 emotions: fear, greed, and lust. Every ICO ad that is successful deals with fear, greed, and lust. Most ICO ads do not deal with fear, greed, and lust, but they're just a waste of money. If you don't understand what causes people to click on an ad, you're just throwing away your money. Fear, greed, and lust cause people to click on these ads. So they click on the ad in response usually to greed. They're going to make a bunch of money, which makes us actually a security industry and not a utility industry, but whatever. They click on it, they're going to make some money, or they're fearful of missing out. They click on the ad. That starts a roller coaster. And your job is to end that roller coaster with that big swoop at the bottom of the roller coaster where the endorphins are released. That is completing the transaction. But a compliant ICO, you cannot do that. A compliant ICO, you must not exchange value with a consumer until you know who that consumer is. If you do, you have broken the law. All of these ICOs that are putting it in escrow until they complete KYC, they are breaking the law. There are people at this show who are going to have visits from people they just don't want to talk to. It's going to end very poorly for everybody who's taken a lot of money and they haven't complied with these basic laws. Everybody says that this is an unregulated industry. That's nonsense. It's not an unregulated industry. The laws have been on the books since 1933. There's no mystery about these laws. And everybody who's taking value from strangers without KYC are breaking the law. So we've designed a solution to this problem. The problem of having KYC kill your digital marketing results. What we do is give the consumer the feeling that the transaction was complete without exchanging value. We do that by creating a special kind of digital wallet. This digital wallet belongs to the consumer. So when they land on our site, they register because they want to buy a token. They registered and then they immediately land on the dashboard to buy, whereas a legally compliant ICO portal would typically land you on KYC. We don't do that. We immediately land you on the place to buy. When you click buy, you see an address to which you should send your Ether. But that address is your address. It belongs to you as the consumer. It's a special digital wallet that we've created that belongs to the consumer. Because it belongs to the consumer, they're taking money out of one pocket and they're putting it in the other pocket. No value has changed hands, and thus we have not violated any laws by taking value from a stranger. And so they send us Ether, and at that point, we send them an email. We say, thank you very much for making the decision to participate in our ICO. You have placed your money in your wallet. This is your ICO wallet for our ICO, XYZ ICO. That wallet belongs to you. Here is the login for you to get your key, your private key for your wallet where your money is now placed. When you complete KYC, the money will automatically be transferred out of your wallet in agreement with the terms of service that you agreed to when you signed up. If at any point you decide you don't want to complete the transaction, here's your private key, go get your money. It's your money, it's your wallet. So what we've done is accomplish the primary goal of any digital marketing campaign, which is to release endorphins. We have taken money and we've released endorphins. We win. Everybody's happy. The dude took out his credit card. He checked. His wife's not looking. He really quick did what he needed to do without KYC derailing the train. And he got all happy. He feels like he accomplished something. And then he's got a week to finish KYC. And that's the key. We legally take KYC and put it on the other side of the consumer experience. From our experience, the KYC drop-off is 40%. We don't know how much of that drop-off will be recovered now that we move it to the other side of the consumer experience, but we think it's about 50% of it. So we think that we're going to give you a boost of about 20% on your ICO experience by putting the KYC legally on the other side of the consumer experience. So that's what we do. It's ICO comply. And that same approach to optimization of marketing results is built in throughout our platform. So if you know somebody who's running an ICO, or if you're running an ICO and you want to optimize your ICO results on the digital marketing campaign, then our platform is designed for you. We have drip marketing built in throughout it so that depending on the state of your consumer, the messages they receive will be specific to where they are. So if they've registered but they didn't go to the dashboard, they're going to get that email chain of, hey, you registered, that's awesome, let's take the next step. Come on, click here and land on our dashboard. If they landed on the dashboard but they didn't make a commitment, we're going to help them make a commitment. And all the way through the life cycle of the token purchaser or the investor, if it's security, we nurture them all the way along. We have analytics built in throughout it, and basically all my 20 years working in digital marketing is poured into this portal to optimize the digital marketing thing that is an ICO. And the other thing we've seen, I don't know if you've seen in the news, but some of these ICOs get hacked, and it's really super bad. Like they lose all their money or they lose all their data. Either way is very, very bad. Our system, our penetration test for our system, what we did, we took a hacker that used to work for Anonymous, really bad guys, and we gave him root login to our portal. We gave him root access to our database, and we said, your job in 1 hour is to do something so you can steal money from us without being detected. And it's mathematically impossible to do. Our platform, the security we've built in our platform is mathematically impossible for somebody to manipulate any of the data without being caught and without us correcting the data. It cannot be done. We've built a solution so that we still operate on a very fast relational database, but you cannot manipulate any of the data without being caught. So we have phenomenal security. The identity data is simply not in our database, so you can't steal the identity info because it's not there. We house that in a third-party secured resource. We actually partnered with a group that does healthcare data, and we store it there. So if you successfully hack us, you're going to have the same results that our pen test was, where we gave them the keys to the kingdom. They could do nothing. And so highly secure, phenomenal marketing results. And then we've combined that with a network of investors. My angel investor who backed my companies, she syndicates for over $1 billion. And she funded the build out of this platform. And so she wanted to have a platform that she considers best practice, so that if companies are in this platform or something similar, she's going to pay special attention to it and consider it for potential investment. So she was looking for deal flow. The reason she signed up for my project is so that she can get deal flow. So that's what we bring. We bring marketing results, security, and access to funding. Thanks. Any questions? I'm actually not sure that you're responsible for the secondary market action on your tokens. At that point, the exchange where that commerce took place would be responsible. So on that exchange, they would have had to have KYC'd and AML'd you, or they're in trouble. I really doubt that the ICO is responsible for what happens with your tokens after the ICO. It's a good question. I've never had that question before. Yeah. Right. Right. But the anonymity of the blockchain kind of changes that. Now, there are actual protocols that allow for a continuous visibility of the owners of any token, if you will, or any contract. But that kind of defeats one of the purposes of the blockchain at the same point. So, yes.
Do you provide?
Oh, sorry. Yes, sir.
Do you provide any service for the compliance here? Do you provide a service, and what is going to be the service fee?
Okay, so my company provides technology, and then I've built service providers all the way around me. They're providing me service on my ICO, and they're also part of ICO Comply to provide services to the clients. So we do have the legal, we have the compliance, we have marketing, we have PR, we have the strategists, we have the tokenomists. They're not my employees. It's just the best-in-class people that my angel investor, Lan, she's brought to the table. And so what we're doing is, instead of being a one-size-fits-all, I don't believe in that. I think it's silliness. Any of these companies that say, hey, don't worry, give us your money and go to sleep and you'll wake up rich, I think that's stupid. And so we're not trying to do that. We're working with our angel investor and her group to have best-in-class. And so we have already 3 different attorneys that are present, because it really depends on so many factors which attorney you should use, right? And our PR, we have 2 PR groups. We have 3 strategists, 5 tokenomists. And so, yes, we do have those people that we're vetting and we're onboarding and we're providing access to, but it's not me.
Yeah, my company is also in the same space, so definitely I'll talk to you.
Brilliant. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is going back to where you mentioned the legality of like knowing your customer KYC. So
Yep.
what about the legality? I won't say me. I'll say a friend and very fortunate. He's in private sales and a big syndicate, where they're raising millions of dollars. What's the legality of that? Because they know that he's raising $5 million for him, but through 100 different people.
Well, at some point, I mean, that's either is that in the United States? You've heard? Well, I mean, it's either compliant or non-compliant. If it's compliant, then it's under a structure, most likely 506D. And there's a reporting structure, and there is a responsibility on whoever's syndicating that, whoever's placing those deals, and whoever's receiving those funds. They're equally responsible to determine that they're in compliance. So those have to be accredited investors, and that has to be documented. It has to be retained on file. And for 3 years, they alphabet soup can come back to you and say, hey, where are your files? I want to have 100% audit. They can go 100% audit, or they can go random sample. And you have to prove that all of these guys were accredited or you were compliant, right? You might be an A+, or you might be a 506D, or whatever it is. You have to prove that you're in compliance. So, and if not, then what really bad stuff can happen. One of those investors can decide that he was screwed, and he can whine to an attorney, and the attorney can ask, well, what did they do? Did they prove that you were accredited? And no. Well, are you an accredited investor? No. Boom. There's a big lawsuit, and you lose your shirt. No, the guy raising and the guy taking money. Yeah. Sorry.
Depends on the exception. 506D allows unaccredited investors. 506C requires all accredited.
Is that right? Okay.
My question was, I see how you're doing, you're helping them with conversion rate through KYC problem.
Right.
What are you doing to address SEC compliance?
Well, SEC compliance.
Because you're out selling to the public in ICO.
Yep.
99% of the cases, they're unregistered securities.
Right.
Do you address that issue at all with your clients?
That would be their attorneys would need to address that issue. Yeah.
You're helping them more on the marketing side, not on the legal side.
Right, and providing them with the tools that their attorneys, I'm sure, are recommending they have to be doing, like the KYC and the AML. Yep. Cool. Yes. No, we're approached by a lot more ICOs than we work with. We work with very few because we're not a big team. And so we only work with a very select number of ICOs. Usually they're ICOs that have gone through the angel team, and the angel has endorsed them and usually funded them. Well, actually, my angel story is the most amazing thing. I work with this lady named Land Cherokee, and we live in this make-believe wonderland called Landscape. Landscape is this summer camp for billionaires in Davos, Switzerland. And so the way you get in front of Land is by forming a relationship with one of the people that live in Landscape. And so it would be me or some of the other ICOs that she's funding. And she operates on an entire trust basis where she brings people into her periphery and observes how they interact with her trusted advisors. And what she does is bizarre. Every transaction, she leaves money on the table to win affinity with the founders of the company. And then the founders of the company become her brain trust. And so she's not an investor, she's an adopter. She adopts the founders. And when I went to go invest with her, or get her to invest, it was the most surreal experience of my life. I went to London, I had my pitch deck, I had my pro forma, I practiced all the way up the elevator, and I'm ready to do my thing. And she throws the door open and she says, "You sit down, I'm cooking lunch." That was as close as we got to talking business for 4 days. And she watched me for 4 days interact with all of her trusted advisors. I had no idea that in the background she was running background on me. Somebody pulled my credit. Somebody called my customers from my past 2 businesses. I mean, there was this whole thing happening, but I wasn't aware of it. And I had no idea that people were vetting me individually because we were just talking for 4 days. And she was cooking for 4 days. She's a 5-star chef. She's amazing. And so she was cooking and doing this great stuff while all of her team members are vetting. And then after 4 days, you're either in or you're out. And she doesn't really negotiate. It's like, what do you want and how much do I get? And there's not really a back and forth. It's really amazing, you know. And she's looking for certain personality traits. She's looking for, she's building a team. And she's trying to build a large crew by investing in ICOs. I think she's in like 40 now or something. It's amazing. And she has a big team. So the way that happens is you get into the periphery of people that are in landscape, and then when Land's holding, she has parties at conferences. You know, like her next conference will be in Dubai probably, and she'll have a big house party, and you get one of her guys to bring you to the party. So anyway, awesome. Well, thanks, y'all.
Do you have a business card on you? Do you have a business card?